Hi, my name is James Shepard, and today I want to answer a simple question. What is a merchant cash advance? What is a merchant cash advance? Now, the cash advances have, some have a bad connotation, some have a good connotation, and so if you're not really familiar with it, it's a way for you to get working capital for your business. There are some pros and there are some cons, and so today I'm going to give you a little bit of an education on what is a merchant cash advance, because frankly, it can be a great source of getting capital, working capital for your business, but if you don't understand it, of course, you can really get burned and it can be something that will hurt your business over the long run. So first of all, let me explain what a merchant cash advance is. So if you accept credit cards in your business, you have a little credit card machine or you have a touchscreen point of sale solution, what you're doing is basically you're accepting these cards as a form of payment. When you do that and you settle your terminal, you send what's called a batch. You've all seen this, the batch or settlement button. You send all the money in the terminal, you send it to the credit card processing company. The credit card processing company then processes those transactions and sends them to your bank account. Okay? So you have a predictable, let's say you've been in business a year or longer, you have a pretty predictable amount of revenue there. We know that, if you process an average of, let's say, $10,000 a month, we can assume you're going to process another $10,000 a month for the next 12 months, and so that's a predictable source of revenue for you. Now, let's say something comes up and you need to get some working capital for your business. Maybe you want to open a new location, you have an opportunity you want to take advantage of, or you just need some working capital for your company. If you go to the bank, usually the good side of the bank, of course, is that the rates are really good, the payment terms are really long, but as you know, there's a couple downsides. The one is it's hard to get approved in the first place. If you do get approved, it could take as long as 60 days or 90 days to actually get the money from when you started the process. And many times you just need some quick cash to take care of something in your business. And I know this, I've utilized the cash advance programs in my own business. There's just times where you just need to get some money. So when you have this credit card processing revenue that you're running through your business, what we can do is through we have a partnership with Strategic Funding, and so we work through Strategic Funding, and what they do is they have a cash advance program. So if you're doing $10,000 a month in revenue, through credit card processing, they will loan you between $8,000 to $12,000. So 80 to 120% of your total monthly amount of credit card processing, they will give you that money as an advance, and so it's like a factor rate loan. But let me give you kind of the pros and cons of cash advances in general, and then I'll talk about more specifically the program that we offer to our merchants. So in general, the pros are very quick. Okay, you can usually get the money within 3 to 5 business days, and so it's very fast. The other pros is that there's no personal guarantee in some cases. Now you got to make sure of that, but usually there's no personal guarantee. It doesn't normally, your credit is not a major consideration. The only thing that the cash advance company is looking at is, are you still going to be in business by the time that this cash advance is paid back? That's really all they care about. So they're not really looking at a personal guarantee. They're more looking at, is this something that's going to help your business or hurt your business? Okay. Now, the downsides to the cash advance, what a lot of cash advance companies will do, and something you need to watch out for, obviously the rates are going to be higher than they would be at the bank because there's no personal guarantee. This is just based on, your business being alive in a period of time. Also, you're getting the money really quickly. So obviously you would expect the rates to be a little higher, but that's not really the problem. The real problem with the cash advances is that a lot of companies have a very short term, meaning you got to pay the money back within 3 or 4 months. And that really just kills your business because, if you get $20,000 cash advance wired to your account, that's nice, but if you got to pay back a third of it the next month, and then a third of it, and then a third of it, it's going to take all of your credit card processing revenue away from you, and that's going to end up hurting your cash flow more than it's going to help. So I don't really recommend doing the cash advances that are the 3 to 4 month variety. You can get a slightly lower factor rate on those sometimes, but it's just not really worth it. It's going to mess up your cash flow over the next 3 or 4 months. Now, if you can find a cash advance company like what we do with Strategic Funding, we offer a 10-month and a 12-month program. The 10-month program having a slightly lower factor rate, and I'll explain more about that in a second. And so that means you're paying it back over 10 to 12 months. So you're only paying back like a little bit of it at a time each month. That makes it a lot easier for you. Now, one other pro I'm going to give you about cash advances that is actually really nice. The great thing about the cash advance, the merchant cash advance at least, is that it's not a fixed loan payment. In other words, if you went and borrowed $20,000 from the bank, they would give you a loan payment, and it would be a set amount. Maybe it would be, $1,000 a month. Well, every single month, even if you have a slow time, you have a downtime in your business, you're still paying $1,000 a month on this certain day. And it really does kind of hurt your cash flow, because it's something where just on a regular basis, it's like, man, I got to get this, I got to come up with this $1,000 and get this paid back. It's very difficult to do that, okay? So, the difference between that and a merchant cash advance just takes a small percentage, usually between 10 to 20% of your credit card revenue. So all the cash sales that you put in there and everything, all the checks you get, you keep 100% of that. It doesn't touch that at all. But it just takes out, let's say, 10, 15% of your credit card transactions on a daily basis. So you don't really even notice it as much for cash flow management. It's actually kind of nice. Let's say you bring in, you have $1,000 worth of credit card sales, and those, go to the credit card processor that day, and your loan is taken out 10%. So the credit card processor gets that $1,000 batch. They send $900 to you, and they send $100 to the cash advance company. And so they keep doing that until it's paid back. So when I say we have like a 10-month and a 12-month program, those are really just projected time periods. So we're going to say we're going to keep this percentage of your credit card processing volume, and if you continue processing the way you have in the past, you'll be paid back in about 10 months versus 12 months. The percentage is going to be a little lower, but it's always a percentage. So if you have a week where you're down 30% and your revenue is down 30% for the week, your loan payment is also going to be down 30%. Because it's a percentage. So it's keeping a percentage of each one that comes out. So that's really the cash advance, how the cash advances work. Very simple. Now let me explain the factor rate, because that's the other part of it you need to understand. Very different. It's not really a loan. It's factoring, and it works a little bit differently. So you're going to get a factor rate from the cash advance company. Now, depending on how much risk they're taking on, how long the payback period is, and the amount of the loan, that's what's going to determine your factor rate. Factor rates will vary. Usually, right now, the market rate is going to be between 1.3 and 1.4. That's kind of the factor. That's kind of the factor rate right now in the market. That's the average. So, in other words, if you borrow $10,000 and you get a 1.3 is your factor rate, which would be a pretty good factor rate for that low amount, then you're going to pay back $13,000. So you're going to borrow $10,000. They're going to wire the money to you. That $10,000, you're going to get that in, like I said, 3 to 5 business days from the whole process is taken care of. Sometimes even faster than that. If you're already processing with us, it's really quick. So you get that $10,000 in your account, and then you're going to pay back $13,000 over 10 months. So they're going to look at that and say, okay, the next 10 months you're probably going to process $100,000 of revenue. You're going to pay back $13,000. So they withhold 13% of every day's batch until it's paid back. 12 months, obviously, your factor rate might be 1.34, a little higher because now we're getting an extra couple months of risk on there, but your withdrawal percentage might only be 11%. So, that's kind of how it works. So you get a factor rate, and you take the total amount you're borrowing times the factor rate of 1.3 to 1.4. That's your total amount you're going to pay back. Now, you can't pay it back. I mean, you can pay it back early if you want to, but that doesn't matter. If you pay it back the next day, you still pay back the same amount. It's a factor loan. It's not like a normal amortized loan. It's just a factor rate. So you look at your amount you want to borrow times the factor rate. That's how much you're going to pay back. Then you look at the term. So make sure you're not getting a 3 or 4 months term. You need a 10 to 12 months because, again, you're paying the same amount back whether you pay it back in 3 months or 10 months. And see, one of the areas where we really set ourselves apart is that our competitors have similar rates to us many times, and so it's not like our rates are that much cheaper. The difference is we give you the same rate, but instead of getting our money back over 4 or 5 months, we give you 10 months, and so you get to keep more of your cash flow while you're paying back the cash advance. Now, if you have questions about this, you can go to transactionexpert.com/cash. It's really simple, transactionexpert.com/cash. I have a form right there. If you fill out that form, this is one of those things where we do have in-house experts for cash advance. Also, you can work with a local expert near you to get more help and guidance on that. But if you go to transactionexpert.com/cash, I will have someone follow up with you the same business day because I know how if you're doing a cash advance, it's because you need the money now. If you're going to wait for weeks on end, you would go to the bank. So our goal is to get the money into your account within 3 to 5 business days of you filling out that form. So go to transactionexpert.com/cash, fill that out, and we'll work with you to get a cash advance to meet your business needs.